What's up, mobile gamers? It's Cancel Console Gaming back at you with another interesting game I was able to find. This one is called Implosion, and unfortunately it's one of those games where only the first level is free, and the rest have to be unlocked via purchase. So this gameplay review is based off the one level I was able to play, so keep that in mind before you make any decisions on whether or not you want to play the rest of the game. As usual, I am using a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 device to record this gameplay. Right now the opening cutscene is playing. I have the sound muted, but you do hear voiceovers during cutscenes along with the text at the bottom of the screen. I must say though that I'm not a fan of cutscenes where it's just a fancy slideshow, but that's not a knock specifically on this game, I just don't like that in general. But anyway, let me give you a brief overview of this game. It is a hack-and-slash-action RPG where you pilot a War Mech battle suit to fight hostile creatures called XADA in a post-apocalyptic future. The story follows one of humanity's last pilots returning to a ruined Earth decades after its evacuation, investigating a new threat that could wipe out the remaining human colonies. The gameplay is supposed to focus on fast third-person combat that mixes melee sword combos and ranged attacks as you clear missions and upgrade your mech. I'll find out if all that is true right now. So here we go. Right now there is more dialogue going on. As I mentioned earlier, you can actually hear all this dialogue in the game, it's just I have it muted because of the background music. I know some people don't like games where there is no actual voiceovers for the characters. It doesn't bother me either way, but it does help the immersion factor. Now, one thing I noticed right off the bat is that the graphics have a very outdated look, but is still detailed at the same time. This game will probably run well on even a low-end device, but again keep in mind I'm currently using a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 phone. It's possible that the developers purposely chose this aesthetic for the game. The graphics kind of remind me of the old Quake games. And finally we're moving. I am currently using a Bluetooth controller, so the game has full controller support. Moving with the left analog stick feels responsive, and the right analog stick doesn't seem to have an effect on the camera position. It seems the game handles automatically placing the camera view at the perfect isometric angle. Wow, the combat feels really good in this game. Kind of reminds me of Zenless Zone Zero, but there is more weight to each hit somehow. I'm honestly shocked at how good the combat feels in this game. For the most part, if you're using a gamepad, this is one of those games where button mashing will get you far in terms of defeating enemies, but you'll still need to master the art of dodging. A perfect mix of chaos and skill. Maybe it's because it's the first level, but I gotta admit either my character is OP off the rip, or the enemies in this game aren't too smart. They aren't putting up much of a fight, but maybe the first level is meant to be like a tutorial as well. It seems these barrels have health inside them. In case you haven't noticed, the blue arrow you see on the floor near my character is kind of like your guide in the game. It tells you what direction you should be going. If you get lost in the game, pay attention to the blue arrow. This robot has a giant chainsaw sword, looking like something from the Warhammer Space Marines universe. Then he has an actual chainsaw on the other hand. How is that fair? As I mentioned before, the combat feels really good in this game. Very responsive and easy to get a hang of. There isn't a long learning curve needed to master this game, but the game's combat system is very satisfying to master in its own right. One thing I do wish the developers would do in a future update is show the buttons on the screen when you're using a gamepad. I basically found myself guessing what to press, which led to button mashing, which was satisfyingly effective. Whether that's a good thing or bad thing depends on the initial intention of the developers, in my opinion. And there it is. My first mission of Implosion completed, and you all got to experience it with me. As I mentioned earlier, at the time of this gameplay review, only the first level of this game is free, and the other levels have to be purchased. I have only played the first mission, so my assessment of the game was completely based off my experience playing that level. Based on my experience, the combat system is great, and my main knocks on the game were the graphics. The fact that only one level is free, and button mappings not being shown on the screen when using a gamepad. But anyway, thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to Cancel Console Gaming for more mobile gaming videos like this.